Welcome to how to track PPP loan expenses for sole proprietors and independent contractors. So if you saw my previous video, I developed a template for a business to track their PPP loan spending to make sure that they're spending it, on all the right places and meeting their percentages. So I developed this new spreadsheet that just builds on the previous one. Now this one is really more specific for sole proprietors and for independent contractors. So there's a couple different rules for sole proprietors and independent contractors that aren't really applicable to, like a standard business, like an S Corp or an LLC. All right, so what I've done here, and I've included the download link down at the bottom in the description and in the comments. So you can download the spreadsheet and use this for yourself. Now, on this one, I have not put a password on the spreadsheet. So it is not password protected, okay? So a couple important things about that. What I ask, if you do use this or you pass it along, I just ask that you leave my company logo and you leave the disclaimer down at the bottom, okay, this area here. The other thing is only put data into the yellow cells, all right? The other ones are formula driven, and if you mess up a formula, it will mess up the entire spreadsheet, okay? So only put data into the yellow cells. Okay, now a couple things I do want you to look at. If you have questions, typically you can go right over a cell right here. For example, this will have a note, a comment. So if you see this little red arrow, there's going to be a comment that describes this cell a little bit more. Okay, so you see them here, you see them here, okay, and you've got them down here. Okay, so check those cells or those comments before you post questions, because a lot of times those questions will be answered within the cell. Now, a couple things that are a little unclear at this point within the rules, and you need to understand this, is the forgiveness provisions have not been issued or finalized. Okay, we have a pretty good idea of what they are, but again, these rules are changing pretty quickly, almost on a weekly basis. So I just caution you to make sure that you check with your CPA, your attorney, whoever it might be, your banker, to make sure that what you are tracking is going to be forgiven. All right, that is very, very, very important. Okay, so let me just walk through the spreadsheet a little bit. Okay, so we've got your company name, you've got your PPP loan amount. That's obviously the amount of money you got. Now, importantly on here, you want to put in the 2019 Schedule C net profit. That is line 31 of your Schedule C. Your Schedule C is attached to your Form 1040. Now, when you got your PPP loan, you may have done a draft Schedule C to get the loan, but look at that line 31, all right? So you're going to enter that amount here, and then you're going to answer this question here. I've got a drop-down box that says yes or no. Okay, so if you had employees in the business, in addition to being a Schedule C, there's going to be two amounts over here, okay? So the sole proprietor amount is an automatically calculated amount, all right? It's basically 8/52 of your 2019 Schedule C net profit, and it's capped at $100,000. Okay, so the max amount forgiven is $15,384.62. Okay, so this calculates automatically. Now, if you had employees, it's going to fill in over here. I have calculated these percentages, the 75 and the 25 here, based on the totals. I don't know yet, and it's not clear yet, whether that 75-25 is going to be based on just employees or if it also includes the sole proprietor amount. I have it calculating on both, okay, just so you're aware. All right, so now when you choose no down here, okay, you'll see that it says you do not need to fill out Table A since you did not have employees. Please fill in Table B only. Okay, so you go down here and you'll see Table A and Table B. Table A has the wages for employees, okay? Now, this is just for employees. This is not for any of your sole proprietor income. That is calculated up here. All right, and then Table B has the other expenses. We've got rent, electric, gas, water, telephone, internet, transportation, which we believe at this point is fuel for work, like for a work vehicle. It does not include just your personal gas, that kind of thing. Now, we don't know that for sure, okay? So for the time being, we're just leaving that blank. And then interest on a mortgage that you had, or a loan, business loan that you had as of February 15th, 2020, okay? Now, if you choose yes, you'll see it says you must fill in tables A and B since you had employees. That way you're going to fill in the wages for the employees, etc. Okay. Now you'll see up here these costs, other costs, flip between here and here when you choose yes or no. All right. Then over here, pay periods 24, that calculates the individual pay cap per pay period. Now what that means is one employee cannot make more than that $4,166.67 in one pay period. And you'll see down here an explanation with an example, okay, that tells you what that means and how to calculate the amount to subtract out down here, all right? And you must be aware that over the 8-week period, a maximum of $15,384.62 per employee is allowed to be forgiven, all right? Again, they're calculating the $100,000 cap based on 8 weeks divided by 52 weeks, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, now the rest of it should be pretty self-explanatory. Now, one big question that I've gotten is, do we do this on a cash or accrual basis? And, you know, the answer is not clear. That's the best I can say. Now, what I am telling people is I would do it on a cash basis, so actual money spent, because you're going to be able to prove that the money was spent, all right? If you just accrue payroll but you haven't paid it yet, I'm guessing that bankers are not going to allow that to be excluded or be forgiven. Now, that's just a guess, and we don't know for sure. But generally, I would say if it's paid, use it. Now, we also have the issue of, okay, well, what if I get my loan on the 18th, but I have a payroll on the 29th, and it only includes 5 days? Well, I would prorate that payroll for the amount of time between when you had the loan and the amount of payroll that was covered during that period. I would only include that amount. I would not include the full payroll. Okay? All right, any questions, any comments, please feel free to leave those below. I hope this is helpful. If you see any errors, any problems in it, just let me know and I will correct it and upload a new spreadsheet. I'm hoping there are no errors in here, but also download link again is down below. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll talk to you soon.